Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Final Bros podcast. And I had to ask myself, is it worse to be single or dead? I'm Lane Compton.
I love that you didn't even do it right.
No, I messed up.
And hi, I'm Dolph Eyes.
Perfect. And today
Welcome
we're doing
back.
another episode of the No Context Critics, where we watch the first episode and the last episode of the series finale of a TV show and judge the entire show based off of that. And yeah.
Since it seems like it was our maybe most hated video we've done so far,
Yeah.
we figured we should keep doing it.
Yeah. So, in 1998, a bold, fresh, and groundbreaking piece of television swept the nation. Sex in the City. Starring 4 unmarried, independent women, it dared to tread where few shows did before, unabashedly diving into sexuality and tapping into what it meant to be a woman at the most recent turn of the century. Vulgar, sharp, witty, and often transphobic, it transformed the television landscape, and its impact is still seen in shows today. Sadly, we aren't here to talk about that show. Instead, we're here to talk about the Carrie Diaries, which follows Carrie in her high school years. A show seemingly too timid to color outside the lines. A show with as much impact as a beach ball. Like a Cosmo with too much juice, it lacks any bite. A show that begs to ask the question, when did Carrie abandon all of her POC friends?
Damn, that was a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Isn't it? Was that the whole intro?
That was it. That was the intro.
Wow. You really did work on that.
Really sums it up, I think.
Well, yeah, for people that don't know, there was a prequel to Sex and the City called The Carrie Diaries. It was short-lived. It was seemingly terrible.
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing when it aired on television originally, but I don't remember it. I just know that I watched it. So now that we've rewatched it, I now see why I don't remember it.
Yeah, literally, like I said, no impact. I barely remember what I watched just yesterday.
Yeah, I'm glad I took notes.
Literally, the only thing this show challenges is my attention span. It doesn't really buck against societal norms or anything. From what
But the thing is, it challenges my entire perception of Sex and the City, a show which I have watched every single episode, and I think probably had a formative, I guess, effect on my childhood, because I watched that probably way too young.
Yeah.
And it truly fucked up my sense of what a relationship should be. But then as I got older, I grew to kind of be okay with it and like it again. This show, it's like Riverdale without any of the interesting parts.
Yeah, I would even say Riverdale at least attempts to be shocking and attempts to kind of rock the boat for teen TV in a way.
Yeah.
My background with Sex and the City is I didn't really see it until last year, where we binge watched every episode in just a couple weeks.
As you should.
Yeah, as you should. And yeah, I would say Sex and the City is it's abrasive, it's sharp, it's witty, it's really
very funny.
Yes, and it's pushing the envelope at the time for what women could be on television.
And now it's pushing the envelope for other reasons.
It felt like while Sex and the City was in a sitcom setting, pushing women outside of being housewives into being independent women in the city with their own lives, with their own jobs, with their own aspirations. And the Carrie Diaries was what if Carrie was just a mom?
Yeah, what if Carrie had a secret sister named Dorrit and a dead mom?
Yeah. What if
And that's
Carrie
kind of the whole
dated
show.
her dad?
Yeah, what if Carrie had a really fucking weird relationship with her dad that we have to get into?
So yeah, getting into the Carrie Diaries of it all. The thing is, I don't know. Going into it, I would kind of expect that they would try to at least emulate the characters from the original TV show, even though it's based on,
Right.
books that the Sex and the City is based off of. I would expect them to at least try to emulate some of that Sex and the City like feeling, and it doesn't. I had to remind myself that this was Sex and the City because
really
nothing felt like it.
would have liked it if it was just like young teenage actresses doing like an impression of like of the characters. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I will say the main actress playing Carrie, it's like I could believe it. I was okay with it. The writing didn't really seem like Carrie at all. Like,
no, I was really
slightly.
trying to figure out like where in the next 10 years does Carrie have like a major fundamental like personality shift within herself?
Right.
When does she become a different person between here and then?
Yeah, because it's like Carrie's like, the whole point of Sex and the City is that like Carrie is kind of like a slut. Like that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's like
Carrie's a
these
slut
women
that judges
are,
her
like,
other friends for being sluts, and also
literally
is narcissistic and materialistic, and often her selfish wants in that she puts ahead of her friends and other people in her life end up hurting her in her relationships, and she has to kind of learn from that. Does she?
But-
I don't know, but she's supposed to, I think.
But like in this show, Carrie's like, she's like the last person she knows that's a virgin, and she's like really timid about relationships and doesn't know how to approach boys, which I'm like, I get it. Like she's supposed to be a teenager, but I'm also like, I was kind of just hoping like right out of the gate she was like born a slut.
I was really hoping that she was going to be like, because it's strange that they have like this like, they have like the plastics in the school,
Right,
and
Lana Delana.
yeah, like they really build up all this like high school drama, and I was like, I was really expecting, me picturing Carrie in high school, I pictured her being that girl, but she convinces herself that she's actually a nice person, like she doesn't as an adult. But they just kind of put her as like the everyday girl that's just like looking out for everybody and being nice.
And it's weird because like, first off, everybody has like a cartoon name. Like everybody's in like an Archie comic book. Like there's like Lana Delana, there's
Mouse.
Dorrit, Mouse, yeah, who is sometimes known as the Mouse. So it's unclear if Mouse is her name or a title.
Yeah.
I will not get over Dorrit because
No, right at the beginning, we get introduced to like her dad,
Dorrit.
and we get introduced to the fact that her mom is dead, and then she goes, "My sister Dorrit," and we're like,
Dorrit.
Hold up,
Dorrit.
we just
Dorrit.
watched all of Sex and the City. Never one time did Carrie mention or interact with a sister, let alone one named Dorrit.
Right. So I was fully expecting that Dorrit was gonna die, like in like episode 1, and this is gonna be like a How to Get Away with Murder type of TV show.
I
That
didn't
didn't
expect
happen.
her to live. I expected that to be like a major
Same.
emotional thing.
Yeah, the Dorrit's death. It's like a formative moment for Carrie. Also, apparently I learned, because I was so perplexed by this, that this is actually also based on a book written by the same author who wrote Sex and the City. Candice Bushnell, I think is her name, I believe. I've never read the books. But all of these characters are in the book. So it's like, this is actually something that was written as part of the original source material. And I don't understand how this connects to Sex and the City whatsoever. It feels like completely separate.
Yeah, no, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
It's like the first episode, you get what you would expect out of a show like this, a CW teen show. We're establishing, well, they claim it's the 80s, but nobody
Right.
really dresses like it's the 80s. They dress like,
No, it's 2010.
they dress like, you know, like a 12-year-old thinks the 80s is.
Literally,
Which is
it's
mostly
like,
just like current Shein fashion,
yeah,
like in
it's
neon
like,
colors.
It's like if you're going to a Halloween party and the theme is the 80s.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole show. It is not even slightly 80s looking.
And everybody
in
who's
my
attending the
opinion.
party was born in like the 2010s.
Exactly. It's rough, and nobody looks good either. It's not just like they don't look like the 80s. It's like everyone looks bad.
I would be able to overlook this if it was like, oh, we're using current fashion and it's current like well-known trendy fashion that's like looks good. And so it's like, okay, I can be like, okay, sure, it's the 80s, but they're supposed to look trendy like they are today. Just like Sex and the City, one of the big things about it was they were wearing current, like super trendy, high fashion things.
Right. And I get that it's like they're in high school and it wouldn't be very realistic for Carrie to have like high fashion things, but also it's like in the first episode she makes a purse or something. And it's like very crafty and they're like,
she like redesigns her mom's purse to be, just like splashes paint on it.
Yeah, she put some shitty paint on it and it looks fine.
The first episode is very heavy on they're still trying to get over their mom's death.
Yeah.
And also, why would you use that mug?
What is it? Oh, is it Harry Potter?
You're just out here using your Harry
my
Potter
transphobic mug. In my defense.
We here at the Final Bros do not support J.K. Rowling or her transphobic beliefs.
In my defense, I got this at Universal Studios before we all knew that she was transphobic.
No,
like many years ago, like over a decade ago.
I didn't know if this was supposed to be like a subtle messaging about like Sex and the City and transphobia.
Well, that's a whole different story. We need to discuss the fact that in this timeline, most of Carrie's friend group is very diverse.
Yeah, she has a diverse friend group and goes to a school that is very diverse.
Right. It's like in her core friend group, I think there's like one other white woman. Mm-hmm. And there's like a gay dude, there's like I don't remember, but
but the thing is, surrounding her in general, there were more.
Yeah,
like,
there's
more than
there's
just white people.
People of color, there's black people, Asian people. Like there's all kinds of diversity in this show, which is incredible and great. Mm-hmm. But it begs the question: at what point in Carrie's life did she cut all of these people out of her life? They're even still
around in the final episode of the Carrie Diaries in the series finale. And so I'm like, when did you just decide I'm dropping all of these people and I'm only going to be friends with white women from now on?
Yeah, white women, pretty much. And she does have some gay friends in Sex and the City, but they're definitely her like D tier friends.
Oh yeah.
Like she doesn't she never like considers
Stanley.
Her gay friends.
She only calls Stanley when she needs something from him.
Stanford.
Oh, Stanford, yeah. Sorry, it's been a few months.
Stanley.
But she probably calls him Stanley too.
Probably. But yeah, it's very concerning. It's really wild. Also, there's a couple things that stuck out to me in episode 1. Like when Mouse describes having sex as putting a hot dog through a keyhole.
Yeah. Concerning. Medically concerning. Yeah, it's like they try to be a little spicy and be like, remember Sex and the City? Remember this is supposed to be about sexuality? And they like randomly will talk about sex, but not in like a... Not even in a very fun way or very like, because like Sex and the City, one thing that always sticks out to you is they're always gleefully like recounting their like sexual escapades to each other, and
it's usually kind of kinky, and there's like they talk about like in Sex and the City they talk about like piss play and all kinds of stuff. Like there's all kinds of stuff going on in that show. But then also it's like it's an HBO show, so they can curse, they can have really explicit scenes and conversations. This show is on the CW and it's about kids in high school. So it's like, how are you going to translate that into this? It just doesn't make any sense. And then also it's confusing because it's like, okay, so is this supposed to be Sex in the City for teenagers? But then it's like, why are we even what are we even getting from that? Why would we do that? You know what I mean?
No, it literally just feels like it was just thrown in because like they're like, well, it's Sex in the City, so we're gonna kind of talk about sex, but not just in like a meaningful way.
Dead horse until the money stops coming out, which they're still out there. We are gonna have to talk about, and just like that at some point. We're gonna get there eventually.
Whenever it's
'cause this is not,
done.
yeah, this is not the only Sex and the City spinoff. This is just the first failed one. I don't really know what to say about episode 1 of the show other than I don't know that
Episode 1, one thing that has remained true about Carrie between Carrie Diaries and Sex and the City is that she is a hypocrite.
Yes.
Because in episode 1, she ends up, because she gets an internship in New York City, and so she goes off to New York City, and she's working at a law firm, right? It's a law firm, I think. Yeah, law firm.
So such a weird internship.
Yeah, she's working at a law firm as an intern, and she has her. She gets a run in her stockings, so she has to go to the department store to get them to get a new pair, and she has her mom's purse, which Dorrit hid their mom's purse from Carrie, and accidentally.
Say her name. It's like a jump scare. It's like such a startling name, Dorrit.
But she got white nail polish all over the purse, so it was like ruined. And so Carrie DIYs it up and like covers it in more shit, and she like splatters a bunch of paint all over it and writes her name on it like she likes to do. And because if she didn't, she'd forget what it is. So she's carrying that around the department store, and she gets literally like almost assaulted by this woman who dives in at her, and she goes, "I love your purse," and she literally goes to like snatch it from her.
Yeah. And then of course Carrie instantly assumes that she is being mugged.
Yeah, in the middle of the department store.
Right. Which then that same woman can't remember her name because did she ever say it? I don't recall. She must have said it at some point. It'd be crazy if she didn't say her name.
I just forget
it. This woman, I remember her being in the show. She's a main character, and I remember liking her. What's weird about her is that she is a grown adult woman who becomes very close friends with this like high schooler.
Yeah.
And she has like a weird like friendship.
Carrie, who's like 17 at this time, because she's in high school, and she doesn't graduate until the end of the series finale in season 2. So I can only assume she's a junior.
Yeah.
She pulls Carrie into her dressing room while she's like just in her bra.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that. That seems like assault to me.
Yeah.
It's weird. But anyways,
it's strange.
She invites Carrie to come to a New York City party after work tonight, but Carrie has a high school dance tonight on the same night, and she's having a dilemma.
It's giving like Teen Wolf, where it's like it's the big lacrosse game, but it's a full moon.
Yeah, literally. And so Carrie's working, and then like this designer dress gets delivered to her by like from that woman who works at like Inside Magazine or whatever.
Right. Really weird.
And so Carrie goes out, lies to her dad about where she's going because she goes out to a party instead of taking the train home like she's supposed to. And she goes and she drinks at this bar while she's 17 with a bunch of adults she doesn't know.
Literally like doing poppers with gay men and shit like
literally. Like she's doing bumps off of
that insane scene where she's dancing with 2 gay men, and then she's like, I've never met anyone who's gay before, and they're like, no, you have. Just look for like the closeted ones.
Yeah. And so she's doing all this, she's sneaking out, and she's doing all this kind of shit. And then she sneaks home, and Dorrit runs away that night. Like runs out, like sneaks out. They treat Dorrit sneaking out like it's the end of the world and like she's done like the worst thing and that's just, like she's gone forever, almost like they're hoping.
Right, and this is where I thought we were gonna start like Mayor of Easttown, like Carrie's.
Yeah, I thought
detective.
Dorrit was going to disappear.
Yeah,
and that would like cause some issues. But no,
she's only gone for about the length of a commercial break. And
yeah, because she comes home.
Resolved.
And so all she did was sneak out as well, but like Carrie treats her like she's Like, she once again, she's talking to her like she's her mom.
Right.
And I'm like, Carrie, you were just out doing bumps off of gay dudes' asses in New York City. And you're getting onto your little sister for sneaking out.
Well, her name is Dorit.
Her name is Dorit. It's just, they kept her hypocrisy.
Yeah.
So at least they got that.
It's very Carrie Bradshaw to, you know, judge somebody else for doing the exact same thing that she's doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who's surprised? It's just like the way in Sex and the City she would judge Samantha for being the slutty friend, when Carrie, I would say, is far more sexually promiscuous than like 98% of the human population, I would think. Like,
Carrie also
Bradshaw
doesn't hesitate to like cheat on her partners.
No,
or
she's
like
done it multiple times with different partners.
She would repeatedly do it.
And she loves to like to like kink shame everything. Like, she was like, her favorite thing was to kink shame. She kink shamed her friends. She kink shamed her partners. Like, Carrie Bradshaw is such a fucking menace to society. Literally. Like, I really want us to do some like episodes just about Sex and the City that are more specific,
we have to,
because it's such a can of worms that we don't have time to unpack in this episode about the Carrie Diaries, because that show's fucking nuts. And the implications of this show, the fact that Carrie has never once talked about her sister Dorit, never once talked about her dead mom. We have no clue what happens to her dad either, assuming he dies at some point, probably, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's still alive.
Wait. Am I misremembering? I thought she had dinner with her dad in the TV show.
She did, but... Oh, wait. In the TV show? In Sex and the City? I don't think so. You might just be thinking about Big, because Big is like her surrogate dad.
Maybe I'm just thinking about The Devil Wears Prada. I don't know anymore at this point. In my brain, every show and movie that has taken place in New York City blends together.
I can say that I have seen every episode of the Carrie Diaries, every episode of Sex and the City, every Sex and the City movie, and up to current, I have seen every episode of And Just Like That, the Sex and the City sequel. And I don't even think this show is that good, but it's like, I'm so deep now, I can't not keep watching it. You know what I mean? So it's like, this show has had a really strong impact. That's the only reason the show's
still going.
Literally, there's like sick freaks like me where it's like, and I will say one thing about the sequel And Just Like That, which is not that good, but also it gets some of the things right, a lot more right than the Carrie Diaries. But I think what it gets right the most is that the fashion is like top tier compared to even Sex and the City. It's like they took the fashion up a notch from Sex and the City. This show, it's like they were picking through like the leftovers from Riverdale, because literally that's what this entire show.
No, they're literally just shopping off of Amazon for these costumes.
Yeah, if even that. Like, literally. So nothing
we barely even finished the first episode. We haven't even touched the series finale yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say nothing really like substantial happens in the first episode, other than like a lot of character
they talk nonstop about their dead mom.
And the dead mom. It's character introductions and the dead mom. That's the whole show. That's the whole first episode. Did you have anything else you wanted to add about the first episode?
Not really, because then we get to the series finale and
everything
changes. It's
everything
a different
changes,
show.
Yet everything's weirdly not that interesting.
It literally
still.
feels like it could have been the second episode, but also
literally
it's like the way that none of the main cast seems to have undergone any changes
at all.
From the pilot to the series finale. All the characters that were there in episode 1 are here. They have like the same hairstyles. They act the same way. Nothing has changed.
So first things first, we're very swiftly introduced to Samantha. I don't know what was wrong with everybody on set, everybody in production, everybody in casting. I don't understand how anybody thought that this is supposed to be Samantha.
No.
It's like there's other than she's like a white woman with blonde-ish hair. Her hair's not even like that blonde.
No, she has like a weird two-tone, like the underpart is like dark brown. It's this hideous wig. There's like
And
hideous hard front wig with these swoop bangs.
And that's not even like, as far as I'm aware, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that was an 80s trend.
No.
The like two-toned like blonde and brown hair
This
was very
not
like
an 80s
2010.
style. See, the thing is, translating Samantha's style in Sex and the City to a 1980s like young adult version of her would have been very easy because
Literally.
like
Power suits.
Samantha is known for wearing like
Shoulder pads.
power suits with shoulder pads as an adult. So like, and those were huge in the 80s. So there's no way she wouldn't be wearing those as a young adult. And she wears none of them. She wears these hideous denim jackets that are definitely not from the 80s. And these hideous tights.
She's not even doing like the like breathy Marilyn Monroe like Samantha voice.
No.
Which is really crazy because it's like Kim Cattrall's voice as Samantha is part of what makes the character so iconic. So to not even like attempt to find somebody who could give that same like essence is wild. Cause it's like Samantha's kind of like the modern day Marilyn Monroe, you know? It's like she's like promiscuous and like, but like as this, like a reclaiming her femininity as power kind of. I didn't get any of that from this Samantha, like at all.
And Samantha's also known for being like the witty, quippy, like quick-witted
I mean, that's
friend.
just, listen, I will say, I can't blame the actress for that.
No.
Because there was not a joke in sight in the 2 hours of this show that we watched. Like, not a single joke. And don't get me wrong, I was laughing my ass off the entire time. But, like, for all
not
the
for the
wrong
right reasons. Not for the reasons the show wanted us to.
No, not at all.
God, so much happens in this finale, but yet nothing happens. It's like they're rushing to get everything out the door.
It feels like it's almost broken up into like 3 completely separate TV shows that are just mashed together. Because there's this weird subplot with like Carrie, and she's like, she can't go to school, but she also got fired from her
graduate.
job.
They graduate right at the beginning of the episode. So now they're not in high school anymore. And they're making a big deal about Carrie not going to college. Because in that time period, Carrie has now gotten a job at the Inside magazine with her fashion friend. And also, right there during the same episode, almost immediately, she gets fired from that job.
Which, I have to say, I don't know because I wasn't alive in the 80s because I'm young, like a fetus. But I don't think it was super expected that people went to college, especially if you were a young woman.
Yeah, no, I don't think the societal pressure for everyone to go to college.
I think that was more of our generation.
Yeah,
like
I feel like that was more pushed
2000s.
in like the millennials and maybe. Yeah, it was. I thought that was a little strange. But I mean, even if her dad was just like a parent that was very particular about like, I want you to get a college education.
Right.
One of the weird things is that Carrie, after she loses her job, and you know she had a fight with her dad about this already. She goes to what school was it? It was some school. Whatever.
NYU? Probably. I think it was NYU.
She goes to like the registrar's office and she's like, because she got accepted in college.
But what if it was NIATA? Do you know about NIATA?
No.
Coming soon when we do the Glee episode.
Oh God. Okay. Anyways, not going down that road. Moving on. She goes to the registrar's office because she was accepted into college. She just didn't go to college.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, sorry, we already closed our registration. You can't register anymore. We've already filled up." And then he says, "But you can, since you're accepted, you can enroll in the spring." So that's only like half a year away. And she's like, what am I supposed to do in that time? And like she acts like everybody seems to act like if you don't go in your very first semester as a fresh 18-year-old, then you just can't go to college now.
Right.
Instead of just
like she's just gonna die.
like you can't just like get a job for 6 months and then be like, okay, now I'm going to college.
Yeah, like you could totally take time off. Like, I mean, I never did because I was fucking obsessive and wanted to finish college as soon as possible. But I think a lot of people do. I think that's actually quite normal to like wait a year and then go to college, right?
It's definitely not unheard of. But
Also, it's a little bizarre. Like, I used to work in college admissions, and it's a little bizarre to be like, oh, I know you didn't do it now, but you can always do it later. Like, that's not really how it works. That's kind of crazy. Because, like, who the fuck knows? Like, she could be a completely different person in a year.
yeah, it was just a strange premise to be like, well, now you can't be a college person because enrollment's closed for the semester only.
Yeah.
And everybody makes a big deal about it.
Well, and then she has her boyfriend who's moving to California, and he wants her to move with him.
Yeah,
And
he has some
really
business in California.
suspiciously like the guy from Glee, but I don't think it's the same actor from Glee. There's so many actors in this show that were like, I just stared at them forever thinking like, do I know you?
Well, they're CW
Like,
actors, so like
Literally.
there's a good chance we've seen them in other CW shows, just in the background
Literally.
or whatever.
Well, a shout out to Gargle Blast in our Patreon who clocked that the girl who plays Mouse was in the TV show Glow, which is where I definitely recognized her from. But I don't know the other girls. I was like, they could have been in Glee, Riverdale, the Sabrina, like literally any other show that's like a teenage show, preferably on the CW. These actors were probably all over it. They all looked familiar.
Oh yeah. So yeah, so now Carrie is faced with that dilemma of her boyfriend is going to be moving to California and wants her to come with them.
Right, but she can't because
But she
even though she
can't
has
because
nothing.
she's a New York girl.
Yeah, even though she has nothing going for her in New York, it's really just she can't leave New York because that would ruin the entire premise of the TV
Sex
show.
and the City.
Which is funny. It's funny because in the show Sex and the City, they go to California multiple times.
Yeah.
And California acts as like a reminder that they are New York girls. Like that's a big part of how that like functions. It like gives them a chance to like leave the city for like plot reasons and for a little change of scenery, but then it always reminds them that like New York is their home, which as somebody who has been to New York City many times, I've never quite understood. It's mostly really loud and smelly and expensive.
Perfect. That's like the perfect environment for Carrie Bradshaw, though. Carrie Bradshaw is literally like a rat.
Carrie Bradshaw. I mean, you know what? You're not wrong. So on top of that plot going on, we also have a plot with Samantha that seems completely disconnected from the rest of the entire show, where she's having like really weird.
After
like,
the graduation, everybody's plots splinter into every different direction, and they don't have anything to do with each other anymore.
Yeah,
it's
so
very strange.
There's Samantha's fucking this guy that's really bland and boring,
scientist.
And I don't care. Yeah, he's a scientist, and we know that because he has pictures of bugs and crabs on his wall.
Yeah, like anatomical things covering every wall of his apartment.
Right. Like scientists do. And then there's another subplot about
Don't forget,
Mouse.
They met at a horse betting.
Right.
A horse betting place.
Did they meet in this episode? I thought they were already dating.
I think that's where they know each other from, though, or something.
Oh, okay.
But
I guess, yeah.
Samantha's a horse better at this point in her life, I guess.
I don't know. I'm not even going to begin to unpack that because we saw so little of Samantha. To make assumptions is wild. But there's also Mouse, who's off fucking the valedictorian. She's like the valedictorian.
Oh yeah, they're
another
valedictorians.
They're tied for.
They're tied for first.
So then they fuck about it.
Yeah, because they were only given one award.
And then meanwhile, I refuse to forget this scene because it's plagued me more than anything else we saw. Is that there's this scene in the final episode where they're having a Sex and the City style like diner chat, except Carrie's not there. It's like
Yes.
it's Mouse and the gay guy, and it's like the friend group. It's the core friend group.
Yeah.
And the other girl, whatever her name is, Rebecca or whatever. And then instead of Carrie being there, the villain from episode
Yeah, the
one,
villain
Donna
from
LaDonna, is there.
Yeah, Donna's
What is
there
that
hanging
about?
out with everybody. Don't know why.
Are
Don't know
they
how that
friends?
developed. I guess they're friends now. I guess they worked it out on the remix. I don't know.
But it's just so bizarre to me because it's like, this is the setup, right? This is the Sex and the City setup where we've got Carrie and her friends, except Carrie's not there. Like,
No,
why?
I do think that they stopped being friends with Carrie and they started being friends with Donna, and she's a better friend.
Probably. Maybe that's where it was going. Maybe what we missed was that it was like Carrie was like branching off into another friend group. But then in the end, weren't they all there at the diner in the last scene? And Carrie was like serving them? And Samantha was there. Do you remember that? They were all sitting at a table in New York City, and Carrie was a waitress. And she served them drinks. She served them like lukewarm drinks. Did you not remember this at all? And like the gay guy had like a Shirley Temple.
No, I
with
remember
no ice
somebody
in
had a
it.
Cosmo. I think Samantha got
Yeah.
a Cosmo or something, but I didn't remember Carrie being there.
Carrie was the waitress who served them.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but although everyone else was like her friends from high school and from New York City, because I think the girl who was like her boss or something might have been there too, right? Because she got married. There was a wedding.
yeah, a wedding was a big part of this series
There's
finale,
also a wedding.
just like in Sex and the City.
There's so many characters, and none of them were very memorable.
No. So your friend that got you to this job at Inside Magazine that immediately gets you fired from Inside Magazine because she fucked up majorly. You're just gonna go to her wedding anyways. Not like she just destroyed your life or anything. That was weird to me. I don't know. I'd be
Yeah.
if you got me a
Well, and
job
then-
at a major magazine and then because of your own selfish stupidity got me fired from that dream job as well, I
But then
would not be
Carrie-
hanging out with you the next day.
But then Carrie brought her boyfriend and her second boyfriend. Her
Dad. For some reason, Carrie brought her dad to her friend's wedding,
Yeah.
but not Dorrit. Dorrit was not invited to this wedding.
Well, why would she be? She's not marrying Dorrit.
But
I
like,
think
why
Carrie-
is he there?
Remember that scene where Carrie's dad comes in and he's like, you're taking over the role of your mother?
Yeah. Yeah, that was
What
episode
did that
1.
mean?
That was
what did
weird.
That mean? What did that mean?
He wanted a daughter wife, I guess. I don't know. That was a very
Yeah.
awkward scene.
There were some quotes I wrote down that really, really took me out. I need to see if I can find them.
I just can't
'Cause they
imagine
were-
2 seasons worth of content because I don't see how any plot developed from episode 1
Yeah.
to the finale.
No, I literally don't know. Oh, okay. I got some quotes for you. This one I liked. Just for grammatical reasons, we remember our first sex.
Yeah.
Remember that?
We remember our first sex. I remember that line. Do you remember your first sex?
That is such an insane thing for somebody who's like canonically supposed to be like a successful writer
Oh
in
yeah,
the future.
episode 1. It's called the Carrie Diaries because her mom used to do journaling, and she had like some blank journals lying around in her stuff. And so Carrie decides, oh, I'm gonna do that too. And so like the framing device for the Carrie Diaries is at the end of the episode, instead of her writing her shitty column, she's writing in her journal.
Yeah, her shitty journal.
On the finale, where are the journals? The diaries
but-
are gone. The diaries don't exist anymore.
What about this line? And then I decided, who wants to drink alone?
Yeah. In the one scene, yeah, like There was also,
I like that
she only had one scene with Samantha in the finale at all.
Yeah, Samantha didn't seem important. But see, the
No.
other thing is that we never met Charlotte
Or Moanda.
Moanda, which
I truly thought
like
by the series finale we were gonna have like her core friend group had formed. She has, Samantha, Miranda, and Charlotte, and they're ready to take on
yeah,
New York
because
City.
it's not like there was like a small amount of seasons. There was only 2 seasons, but there was a lot of episodes in them. You would have
Yeah.
thought they would have met like all the characters, and
Which
she would have met
I do know in Sex and the City it is established that some of them have not been in the friend group as long. But
Yeah,
like if we're gonna be doing a
Miranda.
kind of reimagining anyways, who
So
fucking cares?
Samantha is her oldest friend.
Yeah.
It's also implied that they've known Charlotte for a long time.
And as Carrie won't let her forget, she is her oldest friend.
No, of course not. And then I believe Miranda, it's implied that she, at the time of Sex and the City, is one of her newer friends.
Yeah, she's like the newest
Because
one to like the friend group or whatever.
there were always times in Sex and the City where they'd have to fill Miranda in on, like, Carrie would meet a guy that she dated, like, before, and Miranda wouldn't know anything about him. So I think
they have
that's
to be like, that's Lance. They go way back.
right, which, like, I think that's fine. Like, it makes sense. Like, we meet friends at different times of our lives, but I just wish that the friends that Carrie had in high school have like no depth or character to them whatsoever, except for her boss, who's probably the most interesting Sex and the City like character in the entire show.
She's the only one camping it up the entire time.
Like, she could have been in Sex and the City. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like she understood the assignment.
But it's
Everyone
like,
else,
they have this like heartfelt, emotional like series finale, and I'm like, but like it doesn't matter because she's not friends with any of these people in 10 years. Only Samantha.
no.
Not even her dad and her sister.
Yeah, and like all the men that she's with, like I was really hoping for. So there's some things we learn about Carrie in Sex and the City. One of my favorite episodes is when they talk about abortion, and Carrie talks about how when she first moved to New York City, she fucked a guy who I think was a waiter or something, and she had an abortion, and she never told him that she was ever pregnant, and like she kind of like has a lot of feelings about that she never really like came to terms with, and there's a whole episode about it in Sex and the City. So I was kind of hoping that we would get into that, like because the first episode she starts with when she first moves to New York City. So timeline wise, it would make sense that she got knocked up and then had an abortion somewhere around the time of the Carrie Diaries. So I think it would have been a really good thing to tackle, but I guess not.
Well, yeah, like if we're gonna be talking about like current important subject matter that is relevant to the age group that is like part of the show, like talking about like getting pregnant and having to talk about abortion would be like a big controversial but like important topic to for something like related to Sex and the City to cover.
Right.
But
And like
they
canonically,
don't, I guess
both Carrie and Samantha have had multiple abortions, and
Yeah.
it's implied that they had them when they were quite young.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Because
would have
it
been
happened
fun.
after the Carrie Diaries.
Yeah, maybe they would have gotten to it, but probably not. Like, this is the thing. It's like I don't feel like this show is ever going to tackle anything like really profound.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really feel like they were really trying to do anything memorable.
Which is crazy because like
important.
Sex and the City is like famously a controversial show that was very shocking. It was like very shocking for its time. And I would say even now watching and just like that, it still has very shocking moments. Like there are things in just like that where I'm like, that's like I've been following this series for like well over a decade now, and there's just plot lines like I don't want to spoil it. Okay, spoiler alert for and just like that if you're ever gonna watch it. There's an entire plot line where are you not gonna listen? Are you not gonna listen to me? Are you not listening to me? He took off his headphones and now he's just staring. Damn, I really want to talk shit right now, but he's gonna be the one that edits this. So I can't. I'm gonna wait till he puts his headphones on, and then I'm gonna and then I'm gonna spoil it as soon as he puts his headphones on. I'm just waiting and waiting. And then Charlotte's husband can't come.
Are the spoilers over?
Yeah, they're done.
Okay.
They're done.
I'm gonna get spoiled
Great.
when I edit this video now.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, are you gonna watch in Just Like That?
We're gonna have to get into it eventually.
Are we gonna watch like the actual, like, we're gonna watch it through?
I don't know.
Because I assumed we would just do what we're doing now with
Depends
it,
on how
but
much we hate ourselves.
I would love to rewatch it Just Like That because it's not good. But it has a great pilot episode. I'm not going to spoil what happens in that because it is quite shocking. But anyway,
at the end of the day, the Carrie Diaries fails to live up to like the massive shadow that was Sex and the City.
yeah,
Like
similar to And Just Like That.
It's just nothing about it even like vaguely resembles the source material, or at least like the source material we're familiar with. It just, I don't know. It just like it's so bland. It's so bland. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, you know, like you don't see any of these characters in Sex and the City, so you know they're just not important and don't matter.
Yeah. Okay. So, two questions.
Like the series
Question
finale,
number one.
like we never have any like idea. Like we're never like, oh yeah, Carrie's going to go to California, because we know she doesn't go to fucking California.
Well, she might have gone for a period of time. Like, I feel like that almost would have been a better ending if it was like, it ended with her being like, yes, I'm going to go to California. And then you'd be wondering, like, I wonder what's going to happen in California that makes her move back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That would have been more shocking, I guess.
Unfortunately, in this show where they can't have a plot line continue for more than like a commercial break.
Oh God,
it's like
no.
they're afraid to like let anything like dangle on a cliffhanger. But anyway, I was going to ask though, would you watch more of this show?
No.
Yeah, same. And I've seen the whole thing.
I have zero interest in seeing anything else from this show.
I've seen the entire show, and I still wouldn't even consider rewatching it because, like, I don't remember anything about it.
I barely made it through these 2 episodes,
and I've rewatched
Sex and the City
multiple times.
They were long too.
Yes, that's the other thing. I think that's moving with both this show and also And Just Like That. They're long form, like hour-long episodes. Oof. I don't think Sex and the City works in an hour-long episode. I think it's the same problem. That
when we watched Sex and the City, when I saw it for the first time, one of my favorite first impressions is that like the plot moves quickly, scenes move quickly, stuff happens, and then we move. Everything that's shown matters because they're not wasting any time. It's snappy. We're moving on. We're doing stuff. Like,
yeah.
And it's usually self-contained within the episode with something else happening that's arching over the series. But like, they don't waste time. There's no dilly-dallying. Every second matters. Every frame matters. And in the Carrie Diaries, I was just like, my God, it just keeps going on.
Yeah. My second question, how would you fix it?
How would I fix it? I would rewrite everything from the ground up. I would make a like different show.
Total teardown and
complete
restart.
Teardown.
Yeah.
Because we'd be rewriting it. The tone would be different. The fashion would be different. The actors would be different. Everything would be different.
Yeah. I think that, honestly, I don't know where in the show she meets Samantha, but I do think that since they made the choice that Samantha's going to be her first friend she meets, I think she should have met her in episode 1.
Yeah.
Personally. I also think that they should have cast somebody else to play
Even
Samantha.
If she just like bumped into her at the department store or something and be like, oh, that lady's fabulous.
Something. Like, yeah. Something. Like, I also think they spent way too much time talking about their dead mom. I think
didn't matter by the series finale.
Yeah, and adding a sister named Dorrit is insane. And also in the book, The Carrie Diaries, apparently she has a second sister named Missy. So Carrie has 2 sisters.
Dorrit's the more interesting sister that made it to the show. Missy's even less interesting than Dorrit.
Well, apparently, at least from what I read, which I didn't read the book, I just read like a little synopsis. Dorrit's actually not that important in the book. So since they were cutting Missy, they just kind of combined them into one character, but they kept the name Dorrit. Like they could have made the sister character Missy, which is like still kind of a weird cartoon person name, but I've known people named Missy, I think. I feel like that's more of like a Southern thing. Am I wrong about that?
It can
You're
also be
Southern.
like a nickname.
Yeah, it could be.
Dorrit.
But Dorrit?
Nobody's naming their kid Dorrit. No one.
Apparently it's like a Hebrew name. Which begs the question, is Carrie Jewish?
Nope.
Is she?
I
Do
don't
we
think
know?
so. I don't think she ever mentioned that in Sex and the City.
Is she that reminds me, the other day when I was at therapy, my therapist randomly was like, "You're Jewish, right?" And I was like, do I seem? I mean, I am Italian. There does seem to be a lot of cultural overlap between Jewish people and Italian people, but I thought that was an interesting assumption.
Yeah.
I was like, do you have feelings about that?
Well, I mean, it's similar how people keep mistaking me for a trans man.
Well,
And you're like,
you
but I
are
could
in
see.
drag.
Well, true.
I kind of get it. I feel like a lot of times when people do drag, it's just you just assume that they are
A
the
liar.
opposite gender. You know, like the opposite gender of whatever they're doing drag. You know what I mean, though?
What's my
It's
opposite
like
gender?
when I first started seeing Chapel Roan do drag, I assumed that she was a man. And then I realized that she was a drag queen that is a woman, right?
Comment below, what's the opposite gender of a non-binary individual? I want to hear.
Just void. Or wait, no, it would be wait, hold on. That's a great question. Is there an opposite gender? Gender
You
fluid?
tell me. You tell me.
Wouldn't the opposite of non-binary be like all genders? I need you to understand, I've just been sitting here stroking Paris Hilton's hair this entire
That's
time. It's
psychotic.
I gotta say.
The way you're treating Paris Hilton currently as like some sort of support, like emotional support creature.
Listen, I don't
We
know
don't have
what
time
I'm
to get
going
into
through
it.
right
We've
now.
already been going
Yeah,
on
we don't
for
have time
like,
to unpack
no.
that. Listen, my
Anyways.
cat died, my dad died, and now I'm just binge watching Paris Hilton reality TV shows and stroking the hair of the Paris Hilton doll that I have. So, diagnose me below in the comments, please.
What do you think's wrong with him?
What's happening in my brain right now? My therapist sure can't figure it out.
But anyways,
She's
the Carrie
too busy
Diaries.
deciding whether or not I'm Jewish for some reason.
I don't want to see any more of the Carrie Diaries. I don't think it's worth watching. If you love the show, let us know. If you hated the show,
Yeah.
let us know.
If you watched the show, if anyone who's watching this actually watched the show,
Yeah.
please tell me what you thought about it in the comments, because
Yes.
I cannot remember what I thought originally.
I want to know if there are people out here that watched the Carrie Diaries that never saw Sex in the City.
That would be wild.
Like, what is your impression of this character in this
'Cause
world?
that's the thing. I think that's who it was for. Like, I don't think this was for Sex
No,
and the
it
City
was not
fans.
for Sex in the City fans at all.
It was for like young adults who watched the CW, and it was just
Yeah.
like another teen CW show. But it's like, why would you watch this when you could watch like Riverdale or like
It was like they were thinking, like, oh, this Sex in the City was such a hit with adults. We're just gonna take another book from that author in the same like series and like make another show, because it definitely didn't have anything to do with the actors on set, the writers, directors, the people who actually created the show. None of that mattered.
Yeah.
It was just the source material. So if we just use that source material, then we'll get the same thing, right?
Yeah. And also, I hate to say this, but because I don't want to judge the actors so much. I think at a certain point, like, you do the best you can with what you have. But I will say that while Sex and the City's writing was not always spectacular, they had top-notch acting
Oh my
talent.
God.
The core cast of Sex and the City, like Sarah Jessica Parker, Kim Cattrall, Kristen Davis, and Cynthia Nixon, they're all like very famous, critically acclaimed actors in their own right for various different reasons. Kristen Davis probably like the least of them as far as acting goes. But I will say, apparently Kristen Davis has a podcast and it's like incredible. It's like a Sex and the City recap podcast where she's going back and watching the episodes, and I low-key want to fucking listen to it because that sounds crazy.
No, that sounds fun. Way
but
more
you
fun
guys
than
shouldn't
watching
listen to
the
that.
Carrie Diaries.
Listen to our podcast instead. I'm sure it can't be nearly as good as me, as a strange shirtless gay man stroking my Paris Hilton doll's hair.
You can
Is this, like-
snatch her bald.
No, literally. Like, I'm gonna break her fucking back. Anyway. I don't think I have anything more to say about the show other than the hair was terrible, the clothes were terrible, the acting was deeply mediocre, the writing was absolutely atrocious. Like, the least interesting script I've ever seen in a TV show. It's a miracle this show got picked up at all. If it wasn't for the like hype around Sex and the City like fans, I doubt this show would have made it off the ground.
Yeah.
It's so bland and boring.
It didn't last long.
That's true.
I'm shocked it got
It
a second
lasted
season.
longer than I would have expected.
But yeah, I fear that my intro was better written than this entire show. And that's saying something. Yeah, no, I wouldn't bother watching it. It was awful, and I don't think anything in the middle is going to save it.
No, same. I'm certainly not going to.
Unless there was a musical
but
episode.
I don't think there was. Shockingly. I mean,
Fortunate.
we'll get into that when we get into And Just Like That. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch that show with you. You're going to hate it. You're going to fucking hate it.
Anyways, if you would like to join our watch parties where we watch said programs live, you can get in our Discord by joining our paid Patreon, or also subscribe to our channel if you want to hear more of this stuff.
Yeah, don't forget to join our cult.
Yeah.
It's a really cheap cult, honestly. In terms of cults, $5 a month for a cult is pretty fucking cheap. It's the cheapest cult I've ever joined.
And we're funny when we're watching shows. We're so funny.
Yeah, I think we can be. I don't know. Not to toot our own horn.
You know, it's a fun time. It's a fun time to watch the watch parties.
I feel like there's a lot of pressure for us to be funny because the thing we're watching usually isn't.
Oh, yeah. No. Well, I do it for myself. Because when I'm watching something like the Carrie Diaries, I have to be cracking jokes the entire time, or I can't watch it.
Or I'll fall asleep.
Yeah, literally. But anyways, we'll be back next week with something else. We don't know yet. We decide these things last second.
Literally.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.